Blue Bloods is one of the biggest cop shows of all time, and it doesn't seem like it's slowing down anytime soon. Despite being almost 13 years old, no one wants to be bored of the show just yet. But over these years, a lot of things have happened in the background that most fans probably don't even know about. In this video, we're gonna look at the behind-the-scenes facts all fans should know. First up, facts about the Reagan family. Tony Terracciano and Andrew Terracciano play Danny Reagan's two sons in the show Blue Bloods. But they're actually brothers in real life too. Even the age difference between Tony and Andrew on the show is the same as their age difference in real life. Tony plays Jack, the eldest of Danny's sons, while Andrew plays Sean, the younger son. Before landing these roles at 8 and 6 years old, Tony and Andrew had already established success as child actors. While they only have one another as siblings on screen, their family off-screen is even larger. Andrew actually has a twin sister named Molly too. Another fact about the Reagan family is actually about Tom Selleck's iconic look. During the production phase of the first season of Blue Bloods, producers wanted Selleck to shave off his mustache because they thought he looked too old with it. But the CBS executives disagreed and felt that the mustache only added to Thomas Magnum's macho appearance. So in the end, Tom Selleck got to keep his signature look, and thank goodness he did. Commissioner Reagan just wouldn't be the same without that intimidating facial hair. A true testament to how important image can be when it comes to creating an iconic character. Moving on, behind the scenes of the Reagan family dinner and the location of the iconic house. The beloved family dinners of Blue Bloods was quite the production to film. To get all the shots necessary, it could take as long as 5 hours for close-ups and coverage of up to 9 different characters, plus having to reset the table with the food after each take. The actors had their own ways of dealing with the long shoots. Bridget Moynahan would just laugh it off, while Donnie Wahlberg would have to nap on a couch next to the dining room set because he would always eat all the prop food. Tom Selleck was said to try his best at eating all the meat off his plate, but had to use a spit bucket for everything else. Selleck actually does a pretty smart trick to get through the filming of the dinner scenes without feeling overly full. During a shot, he would pick up a knife and start buttering his bread. This way, he wouldn't look out of place while not having to finish his food. Another thing you probably didn't know about the dinner scenes is that the flatware is actually fake. Early episodes of Blue Bloods featured real metallic silverware, but it was too loud for production because of all the banging noise, so they replaced them with plastic utensils instead. Commissioner Frank Reagan's family dinner scenes were a regular feature in almost every episode of Blue Bloods. These conversations usually revolved around moral and professional matters and were shot in a modified CBS studio. But the house's exterior featured on TV was taken from an actual home located in Bay Bridge, Brooklyn, and the house is owned by Maronites. Although it isn't open to visitors, you could easily catch a glimpse of it if you're walking by. Moving on, actor Adrian Mattia is a real-life EMT. Adrian Mattia, an emergency medical technician from Jersey City, New Jersey, showed up as an extra and background actor in the early seasons of Blue Bloods. It wasn't really supposed to be anything too serious, but he enjoyed the process so much that he decided to pursue more acting opportunities outside his day job. One of his first biggest roles on Blue Bloods was a bit ironic, not as an EMT or police officer, but rather as a drug dealer. And there's a reason why people kept leaving. Amy Carlson's departure from Blue Bloods was a shock to many fans since she'd been one of the original characters since the premiere. Playing Linda Reagan, wife of Danny, and an accomplished nurse, her character had become quite popular and appeared in most episodes. But then, out of the blue, Linda died in a helicopter accident off-screen. No one was expecting anything like this to happen, not even the actress herself from what it seems like. Amy Carlson talked about her disappointment with how this was handled by the showrunners, admitting that she would have liked for her character to have some sort of proper goodbye on screen, even though she hasn't been asked back for season 8 yet. Carlson has said before that she'd love to return if given the opportunity. In 2012, Jennifer Esposito used to play Detective Jackie Curatola, one of the original cast members of the show. But during the filming of the 3rd season, her long-term condition, celiac disease, caused her to suffer an attack and collapse on set. Knowing that she needed time off in order to focus on her health and recovery, Esposito immediately took a week of medical leave as advised by her doctor. She was determined to get better so she could return to work for the rest of the season. Esposito reported that CBS had refused to recognize her medical condition as serious. Instead, they believed she was just lazy and wanted money for doing nothing. She requested a reduced work schedule because of her medical condition, but they straight up fired her and released a statement saying, "Jennifer has informed us that she's only available to work on a very limited part-time schedule. As a result, she's unable to perform the demands of her role." It also explained Detective Curatola's sudden sudden disappearance from Blue Bloods since she was literally fired. To fill in the gap left by Esposito, actress Megan Boone was cast as the new detective. Esposito commented on the situation on Twitter, alleging that CBS had replaced her with an all-white cast reminiscent of CSI. Not to mention, the filming was almost moved to Toronto. In 2010, when the show was just getting started, shooting its first season, the production almost had to pick up and move north to Toronto because the state tax rebates that were meant to attract film production companies had already expired. Though this would have been a much more cost-effective option, the show's producers were adamant they shoot in New York. Luckily, through some quick negotiation with both city and state governments, they managed to come to an agreement at the last minute that allowed them to stay in the city. Filming in Canada would have taken away from what makes it so special, its connection to New York and the New York people that live in it. Next, the creators worked on Soprano, only to get fired. Mitchell Burgess and Robin Green had worked together with David Chase on the short-lived 1988 series Almost Grown. In 1999, Chase offered them a chance to write for his upcoming HBO drama, The Sopranos, which they obviously accepted, knowing that it was a huge opportunity for them. The married writing team played a huge part in developing the show in its early seasons, but in 2006, their involvement with the show ended under mysterious circumstances. Afterward, they teamed up to create their own series, the police family drama Blue Bloods. It has since become one of CBS's most popular shows, airing its 10th season in 2019. Chase had become very annoyed with Green and her writing partner as they kept writing fewer and fewer episodes. Then, when they finally did write, he would get pretty frustrated because the scripts didn't capture the wise guy mentality of the main characters. The relationship had started to become distant and hostile. At one point, Chase even moved her and Burgess's chairs to a far corner of the room so he wouldn't have to see them. They were ultimately let go from their positions. Mitchell Burgess and Robin Green weren't just fired from The Sopranos. Even CBS decided to part ways with them at the end of season 1 of Blue Bloods, a show they created together. Well, CBS wanted the show to take on more of a formulaic police procedural approach, similar to other popular shows like Criminal Minds or CSI, which basically ran on the network. However, this didn't sit well with the creative staff and actors who wanted more of a blend between family drama and modern police issues. In fact, one of their first bosses, showrunner Ken Sanzel, had left earlier in order to avoid continued arguments with star Tom Selleck because he thought the show was too formulaic. Finally, they had quarrels with religious groups. The Catholic League praised Blue Bloods as one of the few television shows to fairly portray Catholicism because of Frank Reagan's strong devotion to his faith. But in 2014, the organization received numerous complaints about a particular episode where Frank commented that the Catholic Church was a little behind the times on its views towards. The episode also featured a cardinal struggling with identity and nun, which provoked even more criticism from the Catholic League. President Bill Donahue even accused CBS of turning away its viewers and committing by airing such content. That's a wrap for this video. Were there any behind-the-scenes facts we missed? Comment below, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one!